Now we're going to water plants. Amazing thing. We're finally going to water plants. Now, when you're going to water a plant, you want to check the soil first. You can do this by sticking a little skewer into the soil and see if it's wet or dry, how it feels. This one feels nice and dry. You can do it by using a spoon. Stick that down in there. This is nice and dry. It doesn't stick together. So we've decided that it's ready to water. When you water it, you're going to pour the water slowly, a little at a time. 1, 2, a little bit of water there. And we're going to want to see how much water comes out in the liner. I've got about 1/4 of an inch of water in the bottom of the pot, and I can check that also using my little probe as a dipstick. Just stick it down in there and see how much water's there. About 1/4 of an inch of water down in there. That's a good amount of water to keep a plant, a normal sized plant in medium light, 1/4 an inch to 1/2 an inch. Will keep it for a week. If you want to go longer between your watering, you pour a little bit more, so you get 1/2 an inch to an inch of water in the bottom, and that'll keep it for 2 weeks. So that's when your plant is ready to water. Checking the soil. I can see that it's very wet. When I pinch it, the water actually drips out of it. So that's very wet. You're not going to put any more water into that plant. As a matter of fact, you're going to check it and see if there's water in the liner left over from the last watering. And indeed there is. You can put your dipstick down inside. That's coming up about that much water. Now, you don't want your plant to sit in water that long. That means it didn't use the water you gave it the last time. You need to get rid of that water. You can use a turkey baster. You stick it right down in there. I mean, obviously, if you have a small plant, you can just pick it up and dump it out in the sink. But if you have a larger plant that's too heavy, you can use a turkey baster, and you can siphon up all that water out of there. Get that extra water out of there, and then just let it go ahead and dry out for another. Okay, now here's another plant. This one is direct potted, so we can't look in the liner. But we can feel this soil. It's moist. You can feel that it's sticking together, but it's not squeezing out any water. So that you know that it's okay to water. You're going to need to water it less than you watered at the time before. So if you just jotted down somewhere how much water you put on it before, if you put a cup of water on it, for instance, maybe this time we water it, we'll only put 1/2 cup of water on it. So that's a good idea to jot down the amount of water you're using on your plants so that you know until you know. After a while, you'll get to know. So the important thing is to always check the soil so you know whether you need to water or not. And if the plant is so dry that it's wilted, then you know you didn't put enough water on it the last time. So you're going to want to add 1/2 again as much as you put on the time before. So that's a basic, in a nutshell, tiny nutshell, plant watering 101.